Hello, this is Sunil Sunder Raj with Jersey Sporting News. Today, I'm happy to be speaking with Zach Greenberg, a senior offensive lineman and captain on the Muhlenberg College Digging Mules football team, a graduate of Livingston High School in Livingston, New Jersey, and an offensive lineman on the varsity football team. Once again, Zach, thank you so much for taking time out to speak with me, and congrats on your success there at Muhlenberg College.
Thank you. It's thank you for having me. It's an honor, and it's kind of just a great start to a great year, hopefully.
Yeah, no, definitely. I said all to again a tremendous start, undefeated at 4-0. Zach, all phases of the football team, offense, defense, special teams, firing on all cylinders. It's just to see the team really locked in here. It's just got to be just a great feeling here. Starting out.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the mindset we have is we're never satisfied. 4-0 is kind of great, but we go into every week kind of trying to attack the 1-0 mentality. So what we did in previous weeks doesn't really matter to us anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
seeing the way we're operating in all three different phases this early in the season is great. But we're always going into every week kind of seeing where we have to improve and what we have to do to get ready for the next week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I said the offense has scored, I think, 128 points. Defense only allowing, yielding 59. And I said I yesterday I had the opportunity to speak with starting quarterback Joe Rapetti, and you know, Joe off to another, phenomenal start here. I think 13 touchdowns during for nearly 1,200 passes, coming off, arguably a historic season last year. Throwing for 33 touchdowns. I said, in passing yards, I think nearly 2,800 yards. To have a guy under center like that, who can not only do it, in the passing department, but running as well. And again, it starts with the offensive line as well. How satisfying is that? How comforting is to know that, a guy like that, can really produce in that fashion?
It's great. I mean, pretty plain simple. Having a guy like Joey back there is awesome.
Yeah.
I just think his growth from last year to this year has been off the charts. But I think at the offensive line position, we're kind of just trying to make his job easier. Open up the run game, supplement that with the pass game, kind of whatever we can to make his life easy and keep him going every week.
Yeah, no, it said, well said. Before we came on the air, Zach, we're talking about the 2022 season. You started the first three games at left tackle and then sustained an injury that sidelined you, the majority of the season or the rest of the season. How disappointing was that? And one of the words I wrote down this year, it's got to be redemption, because the fact that coming off, I said last year, just describe just in terms of the injury, and then rehab, and then having to basically start from scratch again, and then come back here this year in your senior year.
Well, I mean, I was talking about my parents before I started this year. I think this is just about my 14th or 15th season playing football, and that was
Mm-hmm.
my first injury ever. So I guess
Okay.
kind of got to look at it as I made it this far, but
Yep.
it was definitely tough. Like we were talking about earlier, getting football taken away from you, you don't really realize how much it means to you until it's kind of gone, and you're on the
Mm-hmm.
sideline for the next 8 weeks trying to help in a really difficult way when you can only uh, see help with what you're seeing from the sideline. But I think it was like it's weird to say, but it was a real eye-opening experience, kind of showing me that you can't, sometimes practices drag out. You kind of just like our big words are you get to practice, not you have to practice. And going through that, I mean, it was really a grind, but it put
Mm-hmm.
me in the mentality this year that I mean, I get to practice every day. I get to have fun with my best friends and get to play the game I love. But rehab was tough, especially when I first got the surgery. It was weird not being able to walk. I'm a pretty big guy, so being on crutches, being this big
Yeah.
was a difficult task. But it
Yeah.
kind of just pushed me to kind of get back on the field. My dad loves to say keep your feet moving because when your feet are stagnant is when you can injuries can be sustained. So kind of just keeping your feet moving, keep grinding through the plays and just having fun out there.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear. And again, the team 7-4, 6-3 in the Centennial Conference. And you know, the previous year, 2021, it said that was just again unbelievable year. 11-2 overall record, 8-1 in the Centennial Conference. And after splitting the first 2 games, you guys won 8 in a row, and then had that, again, just again, incredible run in the playoffs in the NCAA tournament, shutting out both Framingham and Delaware Valley before falling to Mount Union in overtime 35-29. The team, I think, scored over 50 points 3 times. Can you describe that year, Zach, just, the fact that the team was able to accomplish so much that year?
Yeah, that was a really special year. I mean, we had really, really great football players. Our quarterback, Mike Mitowski, was one of a kind player. I mean, my first true college year playing with a quarterback like that was really awesome. We had a lot of great defensive players too, Spencer Kieran, John Washington, a lot of great fifth years. But yeah, that was an awesome run. I mean, that was the same mentality that we always try and approach, is kind of take it 1 week at a time. We obviously hit bumps in the road as we went, but we were able to keep finding a way. I mean, going into Mount Union was a really cool experience. It was a far bus ride, almost, I think, 5 hours. Wow. But playing against a top tier team like that is kind of something that lets you see where your program really stands. So I mean, us going nail and nail, going to overtime. I mean, we definitely shot ourselves in the foot offensively that game. We offensive line wise, I think we struggled to run the ball, but I mean, that was truly once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And that was again, just the number of accolades. And what was so impressive, Zach, was your durability. You started all 13 games at left tackle. Named, said Dan Mule's Offensive Rookie of the Year. Only Mule offensive lineman to start every game. First Muhlenberg offensive lineman to earn first team All Centennial Conference honors as a sophomore since 2014. It allowed only 3 sacks, with 2 of them coming against the Regional Defensive Player of the Year. When you look back on that and what you were able to, again, all those personal honors, that had to be very meaningful to you, Zach, because just seeing your hard work pay off.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, at the end of the day, as an offensive lineman, you kind of don't do it for the awards. You kind of do it to help your team out. But yeah, that was the first time I really got that kind of recognition, which I enjoyed for a week or so after that. But kind of once you hit the off season, I took it as a way to improve. I mean, I wasn't satisfied with the awards I got. I kind of wanted to keep myself motivated off those awards. With going to my junior year, I kind of wanted more. I kind of used it as a way to push myself the extra mile, do the extra rep.
I see the number 60, jersey, hanging, it said on the wall. I wanted to ask you, not only what the jersey represents to you personally, but also being a team captain. So one of the 4 team captains this year. Again, a very, I said special moment. Talk about that as well here, Zach.
Yeah, so the jersey, actually, I was first given number 53 my freshman year. Okay. And I got the jersey, and it was a size medium. So I got it. So the next available jersey was number 60. And I mean, from that point, it's kind of like the number doesn't make you, you make the number. So I kind of took the number around with it, and my mom fell in love with it. So I kind of stuck with it. I mean, I kind of made it my own. I was 71 in high school, 72, because those were both my dad's numbers, and those were both when I got here. So I kind of took 60 and just kind of went with it.
That's fantastic. Hey, 6'4", 290. So I have to ask you, where that growth spur, and then just, be able to, I mean, you definitely, said can dominate in the trenches. And I said you are the anchor of that offensive line. So talk about that, being able to, stay in just, optimal shape. What the grind takes here, Zach. 20, and I said it to Joe yesterday. 24/7, 365. You can't take any day off. You can't slack off if you really want to be the best at your craft. So just describe that, throughout the years there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess starting last year, kind of coming off the injury, it was first getting healthy. I was definitely a late grower. Graduating high school, I think I was maybe 6'1", 250. So I was still growing my freshman year of college. I was kind of waiting. My dad was waiting on it. My brother grew pretty early. So finally I started to get up there, 6'3", finally 6'4". And I mean, we have a great strength coach here, which I came in day one knowing nothing about weightlifting. He really laid the foundation for me. It took a lot for me I didn't want to just gain offensive line weight. I kind of wanted to do it correctly. Yeah. So I spent a lot of my summer meal prepping with my mom, with a nutritionist. So that kind of slowly got me adding weight. I obviously started taking weight training, on the field training, speed training, agility training very seriously,
Yeah.
especially this summer. There's a place in Martinsville called Test Football Academy, which I went to. And those
Okay.
guys are really great. They kind of helped me up my game coming into my senior year. But it's really a grind to kind of keep your body right,
Yeah.
off season, on season, keep the mobility up, keep your body in the best shape you possibly can because it gets hard once you get deep into the season to kind of feel your
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, no, all the bumps and bruises, get nicked up. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Zach, because it's so essential. I said strength and conditioning, nutrition. I think a lot of people underscore that. I think that, in terms of, again, staying, ready to go. And then, I said with those speed schools as well, durability, having that agility as well, because knowing how fast the guys on the other side of the ball are and, trying to keep up with that as well. Hey, it's so great. I think I counted there are close to 40 players on this year's roster from the state of New Jersey, aka the Garden State, which is just it definitely that really brings a huge smile to my face. How rewarding is that knowing guys said from all different parts of the state are on that team. You guys get to share the stories. You all played said high school football. It's that's something I said you got to cherish as well here, Zach.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm a big Jersey guy. I love everything Jersey, but
Yeah,
it's kind of awesome to see the rivalries that come into college
yeah,
from similar high schools. The big one is the non-public schools. We have a lot of Bergen
hmm
kids, a lot of Bosco kids. So whenever
yeah,
those meet up, you kind of they love talking about it. But it's awesome. I mean,
yeah,
seeing how we can translate, players individually, the high school, the work we put in, and how it can translate to the next level. And it's kind of awesome because it gives you, like, when you're an older guy and the younger guys come in, it kind of gives you a bond right away and things you can help them with, or if they're close to home, you can hang out or meet up or train with over the summer. So it's kind of just awesome to see how we're able to excel at the next level.
yeah. It's fabulous to hear. And I wanted to ask you about the coaching staff there at Muhlenberg College. Head coach Nate Milne. I talked to head coach, a couple of years ago. Had a great conversation with him. Rest of the coaching staff as well. What have they meant to you here in terms of your development here on the football team here, Zach?
They meant everything. These coaches, I mean, I think we have a lot on staff, but the three
Mhm.
coordinators, Coach Millen, Coach David, Coach Brown, they're really football gurus. I mean, you hear it a lot as a joke, but they're really, really good at what they do. I've never
Mhm.
really seen anyone attack the game the way they do, even remotely close. But the stuff they do and how they help shape our football team daily into what we are is truly incredible. They've been the main reason I've been able to excel at the next levels with their coaching. The way
Yeah.
we never watched film even on practice in high school, so to me that was a huge shock just from the get go. But yeah, they've really meant a lot to me and how I've been able to get better.
I just see the attention to detail, the consistency every year, fielding a winning team, but bringing in quality players, standing up guys on and off the field, leaders. Um, I see that in this program. And, as a coach has just done, again, a spectacular job, you know, playing for a head coach and a coaching staff like that. That's got to like really give you guys an extra boost, here in adrenaline rush.
Yeah, 100%. They always motivate us and we kind of always fuel off of them. And the one
Mhm.
big thing they all preach is you don't lead when you get the title of captain, you lead before that. And that's
Mhm.
something we kind of pride ourselves on, which really helps our success. That we have about, no matter how many captains we had, I think we had 6 my sophomore year in 2021, but you
Mhm.
have 20 to 30 real leaders on the team that kind of help everything flow. When things get tough, you don't want to say you're always vocal, but when you got to be vocal, it's not always one person. There's a lot of people. And Coach Milne really um, always says that it's really a player-led organization, which is something that we take to heart. We are responsible for our success. They just kind of teach us and help us along the way. So
Mhm.
the kind of different types of leadership we have really helps with what we're
Yeah.
able to accomplish.
Yeah. Just great mentors across the board here. As you know, Zach, it's just not being an athlete; it's being a student athlete. You're a computer science major, business administration minor. Not easy balancing the role of a student athlete. Time management organization are critical. Because there's so much involved. with games, practices, lifts, watching film. Uh, Talk about how you've been able to just designate that time, and separate both, you know, obviously have done it efficiently here.
Yeah, it's funny. People would think the opposite, but it's definitely easier to manage everything when you're in season because
Mhm.
you have a set schedule and you
Yep.
know exactly every day when you have time to do work, when you have time to go to office hours, when you have time to study. So it's definitely a grind, but when you have a set schedule, it's a lot easier to succeed. And along with that, there's kids on our team whose majors range from pretty much everything they have to offer. So if you're ever struggling, you can one, get a tutor, or two, you can go to someone on our team, which helps in a lot of different aspects.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely a grind, but I mean it's always worth it. I started the computer science path because of a fifth year kind of put me in touch with one of our faculty members who kind of helped me from there, and he's kind of helped me for the past 4 years.
Yeah, that's terrific to hear. I wanted to ask you about the support from the administration, athletic departments as well. Director of Athletics Lynn Tubman, Associate Athletic Director Megan Paterno, and President Kathleen E. Herring. Just what have they meant to you in terms of that support for the team? But I'm sure that's is very beneficial as well here, Zach.
Yeah, it's Lynn and Megan are awesome. They truly want to see us succeed the whole time. Megan always brings around her dog in the beginning of camp, which is kind of home away for a while. It's kind of nice to have
Yeah.
interactions like that. But yeah, even President Herring, everyone's about our success. They kind of help us in any ways they can. They love to see us do well. They can love to help and honor off the field, whatever they have to do. Yeah, they definitely mean a lot to us also.
And I think the facilities and they make such a immense difference. And I had to ask you, about Scotty Wood Stadium, support from the alumni, and then even the community of Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm sure that again that's really that you talked about motivation and just that sure I said amps you guys up and makes you want to go out there and work even harder as well.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we just got recently was a plaque for Coach Donnelly, who was our late coach who passed away. And
Hmm.
although none of us had him as a coach, the alumni kind of brought it to our attention that there still should be remembrance for him, which kind of
Hmm.
helps us to understand that it's bigger than us. It's bigger than the game of football. There's a
Yeah.
reason to do everything. There's a reason that Muhlenberg is able to get on the level of success they have because it comes from early on. And it's right outside the tunnel, so we get to see it before every practice, touch it, kind of give us another why as to what we do. And the community is great. I live off campus, but there's always people walking up to us asking like who we have this week. They always say good luck. They always say congratulations. Campus safety always comes around, stops when we're walking, says good luck. So the little things like that really kind of show us the community feel and kind of really it's just good to see, good to feel.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful to hear because everybody knows each other and it's just like you're not a stranger and it's just that's great to hear. So I wanted to switch it up. I said attending graduating from Livingston High School, Zach here. I said you were a two-sport athlete, football and lacrosse. All county recognition as a lineman in football, served as a long snapper, played defense on the lacrosse team. A stellar career there at Livingston High School. When you look back on that time there in high school. I'm just wondering what comes to your mind here, Zach.
Yeah, there's nothing like high school football. I tell my cousin that now. I visited my high school when I was home for the bye week. I
Mm-hmm.
talked to the coaches and the kids. There's nothing like playing with your best friends from when you're a kid all the way up.
Yeah.
You don't really understand how awesome those Friday night lights are until it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of gone. But yeah, there's really nothing like high school football.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what I was even asking John. I was like Friday night lights, Saturday afternoons during the fall. I said, huddling up in the locker room, hearing the pregame speech, and then taking, the walk down and running onto the field, and then you just have the all around environment. You have the fans, you have the cheerleader, the band. It's electric, and to see the growth of high school football in New Jersey is just again, it's just awesome to see. You mentioned before, Zach, that you've been playing football for so long, 14, 15 years, longer than that. I'm just wondering, what are some of the intangibles? What stands out about the game of football that makes it just, so worthwhile that you come back year after year? You definitely have, And I even asked her, this the passion, the desire, said the commitment. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. Uh, but obviously, so you definitely, enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I think there are a couple. There's a lot of things, but I think the main things, one is definitely the brotherhood. You
Hmm.
know, going out, whether you're playing juniors, you're playing high school, you're college, whatever it is, you all get to play the game you love together, kind of go through the hards of camp, the highs of victories, the lows of losses, and kind of reattack every day. And I think on the other end, it's the grind that it always keeps me. It's always like the constant push for success, which is a pretty close thing to impossible, but
Yeah.
kind of keeps you going out every day, getting better, trying to chase that. So I think those are the two things that makes football what I think easily the best sport there is. It really toughens you up as a kid. You're not used to that schedule, those hard, hot camp days, which I mean also brings you closer to your friends.
Yeah. And I think, especially on that offensive line, because one person depends on another, and then all 11 guys together, if someone, slips up and doesn't, play their role, can really, be an adverse effect. So for you guys, I'm sure that's, just having everybody on the same page. That's so vital, Zach.
Yeah, it's definitely it's tough. We're fortunate at Muhlenberg itself to have the same guys who've been on this offensive line for 2 to 3 years. So
Hmm.
at that point, we fuel off each other. I mean, no one's perfect. It's a
Yeah.
60 minutes is a long time in a game. You're bound to
Hmm.
make minor mistakes, but we talk every time we come off the field. We talk, we figure out what's going on, we figure out how we can get better, what we have to do to stop it. Talk to
Hmm.
Coach Millen a lot. So yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, going to high school, I mean, I was playing with my best friends on the offensive line, so that was always fun. We had
Yeah.
a great offensive line coach, but it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard to say you're going to be perfect when you go out there. You're bound to, it's a big playbook,
Yeah.
but the just reattacking and kind of figuring out, going on the fly, adjustments in games is kind of what makes it fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm glad you brought that up because I'm always intrigued by the perspective of an athlete during the course of the game. Because I think, everybody who's, whether it's media or fans, they don't get that true sense of what, you guys are experiencing on the field. And as you said, when you come off the field, I mean, I think to take people behind the scenes is just, again, it's terrific. Hey, you need a strong support system. Wanted to ask you about the support from your family, your parents. You said your dad, played football at Dean College. What have they meant to you here during your, athletic and academic journey here?
They've like in plain words, they meant everything. The highs and lows. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my grandma, and my grandpa. They've mean everything to me. They're part of my why I do what I do. Try to make them proud. And my mom, she likes to say she knows a lot about football, but she's the biggest football fan who knows not as much as she thinks. My dad's a football guy at heart. He loves to sit by himself at games and just watch. My grandpa and grandma don't miss games, even if it's away. They find themselves ways to get there. So I mean, throughout my whole journey, they've meant everything to me, and I'm just playing to make them proud, playing to get better every day.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear. Just being able to share these times with them. Hey, before we get the final word and message here, Zach, want to ask you just if there are younger kids and athletes out here going to watch this interview, what would you say to them? What would your message be to them? Because I mean, as you know, it's very competitive in terms of sports, and try to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. And now we got social media, so everybody's dropping their highlight videos. And I'm wondering, what would you say to them just in terms of trying to figure out what sport it is, if it's football, and then of course, we discussed about being a student athlete as well. Uh, what's your advice to to those kids out there across America?
Uh, it can get hard no matter what sport it is. Not everything goes well, but sometimes stuff has to get worse before it gets better. And if to keep reattacking the goal, whatever it is kind of what's going to make you tougher in the end. I think it's hard at a young age, but you're going to find what you love. And once you find that, you got to keep working at it. Take the highs, take the lows, take the different types of opportunities you get and whatever it is.
Hmm.
I mean, especially juniors to high schools, it's enjoy being with your friends, enjoy playing the sport you all love with your friends, get some wins on the way, make those relationships. And then once you get to if you get to the point in whatever it is for the recruiting process, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, getting the opportunity to make connections with different coaches, send your film out there, kind of get feedback back, especially as a junior. Sometimes coaches will tell you different things you have to work on. But the opportunity itself is something, it's one of a kind. It's very unique to get the opportunity to do this. And you got to take it and run with it, whatever it is. Kind of never, at some point, you always got to remember it's just a game that you're trying to get better at. You know, it shouldn't take too much of a mental space. You just got to find the areas to make it better and enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, sound advice. Well said. Hey, Zach, you get the final word of message here for family, friends, teammates, and coaches at Muhlenberg College, Livingston High School, and definitely your hometown of Livingston, New Jersey. And I'm sure there are people you want to thank here.
Yeah, I mean, first, say it again. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my grandma, my grandpa, everyone. I mean, they've helped me more than enough, more than words can explain to get to the point with where I am. All my coaches, ranging from my high school coach to my offensive line coach to the coach that I have now, all my friends from back home, my friends here, kind of always staying involved, asking what's going on, keeping up with it, which is really what makes it easier to go through the tough schedules that you go through when you're playing a college sport.
Hey, just an incredible honor and privilege being able to speak with you, Zach. Again, congratulations on your success. There's more to come. You know, it's a long way to go here. I said in the 2023 season, and wishing you and the rest of the Muhlenberg College, Digging Mules football team all the best, and can't wait to see what you do. Beyond as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're excited. Excited to get better every day. Excited to have the chance to get better, play the next game. Thank you very much.
Thank you.